I've never been the kind of person who believes in ghosts, haunted houses, or any of that paranormal stuff. That was always for the movies, you know. But after what I experienced, I don't know what to believe anymore. This all started a few months ago when I moved into my first house. It wasn't some creepy old mansion or anything, it was just a small, cozy place out in the suburbs. Perfect for me, or so I thought. The house had been sitting empty for a while, but the price was unbeatable. I figured maybe the market was just slow and I got lucky. The first few weeks were fine. You know, unpacking boxes, hanging up pictures, the usual new homeowner stuff. The place had a great vibe. At first, then one night, something weird happened. I was up late, binge watching a show, when I heard this scratching sound. It was soft at first, like barely noticeable. I assumed it was the wind or maybe a raccoon outside. But then it got louder, like something or someone was scraping against the walls. I paused the show, and that's when I noticed it. The sound wasn't coming from outside, it was coming from inside the house. My stomach dropped. I grabbed my phone, turned on the flashlight, and started walking around, trying to figure out where it was coming from. The noise led me to a wall in the hallway. That's when I noticed something I hadn't before. There was a slight gap between the baseboard and the floor, just big enough to suggest a hidden door. So I crouched down and ran my hand along the edge of the wall, and sure enough, there was a seam. The wall wasn't solid, it was a door. And it was locked from the inside. At this point, any normal person would have stopped, right? Maybe called a contractor or something? Yeah, not me. I grabbed a hammer from the garage and started prying it open. After some serious effort, the door gave way, revealing a dark, narrow staircase leading down into what looked like a basement. Now, here's the weird part. When I bought the house, there wasn't supposed to be a basement. No mention of it in the listing, and I definitely didn't see any stairs when I moved in. But there it was, and like a complete idiot in every horror movie, I decided to go down. The air got colder with each step, and the smell, it was damp, moldy, like the place had been sealed for decades. My flashlight barely cut through the darkness, but I could make out the shape of the room at the bottom. It was small, with concrete walls and a low ceiling, the kind of place that made your skin crawl just by being in it. Then I saw it. In the middle of the floor, there was this box. An old wooden box, covered in dust and cobwebs. It was locked, but the lock looked old and rusty, like it would fall apart if you stared at it hard enough. I'll be honest, my brain was screaming at me to turn around, go back upstairs, and forget I ever found this place. But my curiosity got the better of me. I broke the lock and opened the box. Inside, there were old, yellowed photos. They looked like family pictures, nothing too weird at first glance. But as I sifted through them, I started to notice something off. In every photo, there was this figure, a person, but not really. They were always standing in the background, never fully in focus. Their face was blurred, but you could tell something was wrong with it, like their features didn't line up properly. I don't even know how to describe it, just looking at it made me feel sick. And that's when I heard it. A voice. Soft like a whisper, but clear enough to make out. Why did you open it? I froze. My flashlight started flickering, and I swear to you, the temperature dropped at least 10 degrees in that basement. I couldn't move, couldn't think. My heart was pounding in my chest, and all I could do was stand there, staring at those creepy, blurry photos. Then, footsteps. Slow, deliberate footsteps, coming from behind me, up the stairs. I whipped around, but the staircase was empty. I don't know how I did it, but I grabbed the box and bolted out of there. I slammed the hidden door shut, pushed a bookcase in front of it, and ran to my bedroom. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat in bed with my back against the wall, clutching the box like it was some kind of shield. I didn't hear any more footsteps, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was still down there, watching, waiting. The next morning, I took the box outside and burned it. Probably not the smartest move, but I didn't care. I just wanted it gone. I called a contractor the next day to ask about sealing up the basement, but when he came over, there was no door. I showed him the exact spot where I found it, but the wall was solid. No seam, no gap, nothing. He probably thought I was losing it, but I swear that basement is there. I don't know how, but it is. And whatever was down there, it's still waiting. I sold the house a few weeks later. Took a loss, but I didn't care. I couldn't stay there, not after what happened. Every now and then I check the listing for the place just out of curiosity. No one's moved in yet, and part of me hopes they never do. So yeah, That's why I'll never go poking around strange doors again. If you ever hear weird noises in your house, maybe just ignore them. Trust me, you don't want to know what's behind those walls.